Everyone, welcome to another segment of Balandeli Belanga. It's your host Yeunga Umlandeli Belanga, coming to you on a freer day, Friday afternoon, in the hour of the planet Saturn. Happy Friday, guys. I trust you have had a productive week. Trust you've had a productive week. It's your host Yeunga Umlandeli Belanga, the one true faithful follower of the Sun, the one who has vowed to teach you how to be followers of the Sun. Today I want to finish up the sermon on GeMiNi. I call these sermons because I am Umshumayeli Welanga. So this is going to be part 2 of the sermon GeMiNi. In the previous video, I introduced to us the planet Mercury. I introduced to us the GeMiNi twins, the Ibeji. I introduced Castor and Pollux, David and Jonathan. I introduced us to Undlela Novezi, and the leopard as a symbol for the planet Mercury, and also the cheetah, the speedster, as a symbol, a fitting symbol for the speedy planet Mercury. I also added there Ubaba Ushembe Unyazi, the messenger of the gods. He's also a messenger. Unyazi speaks to speed. It also again speaks to lightning. And what did we say? We said Jupiter is the god of who? The god of lightning. Jupiter is the father of the GeMiNi twins, Castor and Pollux. That's how we got there. And so today I want to introduce to you the idea of GeMiNi as the third act, or the three. We also touched on that on the last video, the Ntatu, the Tato, Intando. The sun now in spring now. Okay, just to go back a bit, we are now in GeMiNi, going to go back to Aries and then take it up to GeMiNi. So what happens in Aries, the sun in spring is symbolized as a Lamb of God that taketh away the sin of the world. And that is the sin of days being uneven, because up until the spring solstice, the nights are longer than the day. And after the spring solstice, as the Lamb of God is appearing in the east, we go through a day of we go through a space period of equal day and equal night. The Lamb that takes away the sin of unevenness. And so after that point, the day starts becoming longer than night. The powers of light are overcoming the powers of darkness. And so when we cross over now on that spring, on the 14th day of that full moon, that's where we place or we slaughter that lamb sacrifice. That's the start of spring, the sheepfold. In Genesis, Jacob, when he's blessing his children, he says, Ishika, of course, whom being Cancer, he says Ishika is a strong ass resting among the sheepfold. Where is the sheepfold? The sheepfold is in Aries, of course. The sheepfold is in Aries. And from here, the sun enters the constellation of the bull. And this is where the ethereal fire, or the fire energy from the sun, is now given a material envelope. The envelope that we harvest, the envelope that we eat. The eating of the Lord's body materialized as the early harvest crop, and of course the later harvest in March, in the month of Ndasa. Of course, Ndasa being where we place the Lord's Supper. I'll get more into that a bit later. And now in the inner world, Aries, the sun enters Aries or heaven in spring as the Most High. The sun in spring as the Most High. Daniel, Ancient of Days, I saw the Ancient of Days, he had hair white as wool. That's the Ancient of Days in spring, white as snow. Pure, ethereal, divine fire. The Lamb that taketh away the sin of the world. The fire which is now going to impregnate the seeds in the ground. When the Lamb appears, the fire of the sun impregnates the seeds in the ground. And then the feminine Taurus, uJehova, Bubele, uTiawa, Tiawu, uJama, Umabele Made, El Shaddai, the God who can supply my needs. The feminine Taurus, the rainmakers, abojama, abomnisi bemvula, ilanga libalele, give the etheric fire objective existence in the material world. In the inner of inners now, this is symbolized as the creation of the cerebrum, the Holy of Holies. And inside the cerebrum, between the cherubim, is the mercy seat, the Holy of Holies. And in the second act, it's the creation of the cerebellum, or the cerebellum, granting the ego objectivity. This is the second act, the Mbili, the bull, the Baal, the Lord. And then the sun moves over now into GeMiNi, the third act, where that which has now been given a material envelope, that which has now been given objectivity, reaches a level where sensation, aspiration, longing and desire, action and reaction is fully realized and put into effect by the two arms, and the two lungs of GeMiNi. In the Lord's Prayer we say, thy will. These are the effectors of will. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You hear it? Now, the lungs, GeMiNi, and the lion of Judah being the heart, work hand in hand. You see, with each pulse, air enters the lungs, air enters GeMiNi, and then transmutes into new wine or new blood. And esoterically, any fluid, whether ethereal, sorry, where am I? Esoterically, any fluid, yes, whether I'm losing where I am here. Excuse me 1 second. Let's see. Where was I going with that? Oh, yes. So yes, the transmutation of air in the lungs. Yes, esoterically now, any fluid, whether ethereal, spirit, air, the ether, itongo, or the sap of trees, or the sap of grapes, the sap of tomatoes, the rain, we call water, symbolized as the pure sea. But once transmuted, we symbolically call it wine. And of course, in Bible alchemy, The transmutation that happens in the lungs is allegorized as Jesus turning water into wine at the marriage feast in Galilee. With each pulse, air enters the lungs, the bronchus, the bronchi, the alveoli we liken to grapes. We liken to grapes, hanging grapes, ripe hanging grapes. The heartbeat symbolizing the husbandman working at the winepress. We are, you are the husbandman. The breath that is the husbandman pushing new wine into Cana. Pushing new wine into Cana. Inside the air sacs, oxygen, or the pure seas, moves across tiny, thin walls. It moves across paper-thin walls, then into tiny blood vessels we call the capillaries, and then into the blood, which means the pure seas, or the air, the oxygen, makes new blood. It literally creates new blood. Oxygen bestows inorganic cell salts or mineral salts in the bloodstream, making new wine. I just made new wine there. To which the guests at the marriage, they agree it tastes better with every sip. Remember in the verse, the guests say, normally a host would bring out the best of his wines in the beginning, but this particular host, he has brought out the best wines later because with each breath, the wine is made anew. With each breath, the wine is made anew. With each breath. Mark 2:22 says, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins, and both the wine and the wineskins will be ruined. No, pour the new wine into new wineskins. The new wineskins are our lungs. And with each breath, we create anew our blood. With each breath, with each pulse. Never underestimate the importance of healthy breathing. Never. In fact, make it a point that you set aside time every day dedicated for nothing else but breathing. Take a proper posture and breathe. Take it in, fully extending your lungs out, and then breathe out. This is very important. We need to be able to consciously breathe. In the world we are living in, where we've got aerial attacks from your COVIDs, your flus, we need to be able to use that capacity. You need to be able to expand your diaphragm and get oxygen down, deep down into your system, because it creates new blood in the house of Israel. Also, make it a point to go hiking. Make it a point to go hike a mountain. Hike a mountain. Because in the hike, if you pay attention to your heartbeat and your breathing patterns, you go through all the known techniques as you ascend that mountain, as you are working those lungs. With each and every step, you or your system is intaking, it is communicating with the plants around you as you are going up. Ophunyuka bemphethe, you are communicating nezimpande. You are communicating as you are going up. Through your lungs, you are reaching in. You are reaching in, yes. As you are ascending, indlela enyukayo, Lord, place my feet on higher ground. Make it a point to do this so that you may have healthy wine sacks, or you may have new wine sacks each and every month. Each and every month. Leviticus 17:11 says, "For the life of the flesh is in the blood. The life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it for you on the altar to make atonement for your souls." It is the blood or the wine that brings atonement or at-one-ment to the body. It is the blood. And so, yes, the drama of turning water into wine, transmuting the pure waters, air, into red blood wine, is a literal happening with each and every heartbeat. It's happening right now as I'm speaking. With each and every breath at the marriage feast in Cana. With each and every breath, yes. Every mass in the universe breathes out and in rhythmically. There are no exceptions to this law. It is obeyed by every nebula, sun, planet, or even an electron of an atom. There are no exceptions. Everything is breathing out and breathing in. And now, being umlandeli welanga, I'm going to take it into the astrology now. You see, now at the feast, Mary informs Jesus, "Son, the wine is finished." To which he replies, "It is not yet my time." Meaning, the vintage is not ready. The grapes are not ready. And so he answers, "It's not my time." The grape harvest happens at the scales of Libra as the sun is preparing to fall into autumn. And so at the marriage feast, the grapes are not what? Are not ready. And so he says, "I can't. It is not yet my time." But then again, he does ask. He does ask for 6 jars to be filled with water. 6 jars. And because he stands as the 7th jar of the vintage, the 7th and the last of the food-producing months in the year, this is where we place the Lord's Supper. He asks for 6 because he is the 7th. You get it? This is where we place the Lord's Supper. When the vintage is ready and when the fields have been harvested, that's where Yahoshua, the blood and the bread of life, is said to be born. In the fall. In the fall, because quite literally, he is the harvest, the bread. Yeah, that is why he says, "I am the bread. Take, eat of my flesh." He is the vintage, the wine. Here, drink. This is my blood, freely given each and every year. That is why I say spring and summer. The produce of spring and summer is the milk and honey. You know, when the verse says Canaan is the land flowing with milk and honey, that is the milk and honey that is flowing in Canaan. Canaan is where? Spring and summer. The sun, the fire of Aries, is now fully clothed. The fire is now the life-giving flesh the bread and wine itself. Sidla uJesu. Sidla uJesu. When you eat a watermelon, udla uJesu. When you eat a nectarine, when you eat the fatness of the land of Canaan, udla uJesu, the bread of life. That is what you are doing. Hayi le cannibalism eniyenzayo enkonzweni. Not that. Esoterically, going further now, esoterically means a circle of water or fluid, a circuit, the circulatory system of the blood. And kana means a dividing place, the place where oxygenated blood is divided and separated from carbonated blood. And now the tissues and the tissue and the cells in the lungs resemble tree branches or sea reeds, if you like. The lungs are the sea of reeds. If you actually look at it, the bronchioles, the alveoli, if you look at it carefully, you will see it resembles either reeds or grapes. The circulatory system is the Red Sea that drowns Pharaoh's army. Where? As above, so below. As within, so without. And so, could this be uhlanga lezizwe? The reeds. Could this be the reeds where Moses was hidden in the Nile? I don't know, but I like the idea. I like the idea because, again, in the Bible, Moses is introduced to us as Mercury, the messenger of Yahweh, the planet ruling over the lungs. So, I don't know. Hey, maybe. Maybe. I like this idea again is introduced when Moses encounters a burning bush, or the tree that burns without being consumed. And that now, of course, is a metaphor we employ for our body's nervous system, which looks like it's on fire. The nervous system, the electrified network of cables transmitting yes, the electrified network of cables, yes, and branches that seem to burn because of the electrical transmissions going back and forth, the angels ascending and descending Jacob's ladder from the command center, the brain. Now I want you to imagine each and every one of those electrical signals a prayer from the 12 different parts of your body. Prayers being sent to where? To the command center. And now the body represented as the 12 tribes of Israel, or the 12 parts of the body. And now commanding all this is the burning bush, the nervous system, the command center for the body. The burning bush regulates the systems in the house of Israel. The burning bush makes sure there is order in Israel. If you look at the story of Moses going through the wilderness, of which of course it is a typology of the sun. Moses is the sun. That is why he spends 40 years in Egypt, 40 years in the wilderness, and 40 years traveling to Nebo or Golgotha. 4, 8, 12. That's the circle of 12. So yes, Moses, or that burning bush, is the command center, or the Holy of Holies is the command center. The burning bush regulates this. Oh yes, I've mentioned that it regulates the systems of the house of Israel. It allows us to experience our environment through a vast network of nerves, which send electrical signals to and fro from other cells, other glands, other muscles, all over the body. The nerves of the bush receive information from the world around us, then interpret that information so there may be control in our responses, in our reactions. It's an enormous electrical information highway running throughout the body. The angels of light descending and ascending, sending those messages or those prayers to and fro from the Holy of Holies at tremendous speeds. It's a miracle we don't burn. And this is why now, if you were to be able to see those electrical signals, the electrification that is happening in your nervous system right now, it would look like a burning bush, of which it's also represented as the tree of life and the Sephirot of Kabbalah. Yep. Ngesintu we call it usimakade. Now again, to firmly place Moses in GeMiNi, the caduceus staff of Mercury is introduced to us as the staff of Moses that turns into a snake. A staff that turns into a snake. Remember God giving him this instruction, take this staff, throw it down on the ground, it should turn into a snake. That's the same staff, that caduceus staff. King David says, thy rod and thy staff comfort me. In old glyphs from Egypt, you can actually see the pharaohs maybe standing like this with a rod and a staff in hand. In the old pictograph scripts, the third letter is symbolized as Lamed, Gimel or camel, or the Greek equivalent Gamma. It's represented as a hooked staff, or the symbol of a rope. In Meduneta, it's represented as an arm bent 90 degrees at the elbow, the symbol for the cubit. That's GeMiNi, the symbol for the cubit. Yes, like that. That's GeMiNi, a unit of measure. And of course, among the titles of Tehuti is Master Mason, Master Mathematician. He's the measurer, sometimes depicted with a scribe and a measuring ruler or a measuring rod in hand. In the New Testament, we find the GeMiNi twins, John and James, Gem and GeMiNi, geminate. Yes, we find John and James, the brothers. And now John, particularly John, in the book of Revelation, the angel tells John to measure the temple. He says, and there was given to me a reed, like unto a rod. And the angel stood, saying, rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. Who are the worshippers? It's the electrical signals. The four beasts standing on your four cardinals. Your four cardinals being the rosary. The four cardinals. The four cardinals, where the four living beasts are that worship day and night. The electrical signals, day and night. The Bible says he never sleeps nor slumbers, day and night. The burning bush, electrical signals, ascending and descending the jed pillar of Asar, or your spine. That is what we are talking about. These allegories are beautiful if given a chance. If given a chance, they are beautiful, they are insightful, they are life. That is why it's called the Book of Life. Because I don't know if you've realized, in all these lectures or sermons that I do, I cover health, I cover biology, I cover science, I cover astrology. And in future, I am hoping I won't even have to be covering the old verses. We will just talk science. I will start the session and we will just talk science. But we need to upgrade our symbols, our understanding of these symbols before we get there. We just need some minor upgrades. And so now, I have tied Moses to John, to Tehuti, and we've tied James also to GeMiNi, James and the brother John to the GeMiNi twins. How we also place them there in Bible alchemy, it's allegorized as they are said to be the sons of thunder. When do we experience thunder? November. It starts from November going into December. That is where now we place James and John. You must see in the Bible alchemy, it's always James, then John. For us, it's what? It is the rains of November, the thunderstorms of November and December. If you flip it, it is the thunderstorms of May and June. James and John, June. Or Ion, I-O-A-N, or Wowane. Who is Wowane? Or the Oanes, the wise ones? It's Hermes, it's Tehuti, it's Moses, it's the messengers of the gods, it's Gabriel, it's Enoch. Let me move on. Also, yes, yeah. Tehuti is where am I? Oh yes, yeah. In the Egyptian pantheon, it is the holy scribe Tehuti who measures, yes, measurement again, who measures the scales of Maat. Remember, I introduced the idea of Tehuti being the word. Remember? Again, oh yes, the word being John and Tehuti being John. Again, it is John who introduces us to the omniscient divine will in creation, the will of the Father. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's Tehuti. That's will, mental mind. And it says, through him all things were made. In another angle, still in the Bible, in another angle, the GeMiNi twins, Castor and Pollux, can be compared to the brothers Levi and Simon. The brothers who killed all the men in Shechem, avenging the rape of their sister. When you read literally, you read stories of rape, genocide, murder, and everything else. But if you are reading, understanding that these are folklores containing lessons, concerning higher lessons, you will be able to realize that the story of Levi and Simon killing or defending the honor of their sister by killing the men of Shechem is actually the same story, represented differently. The same story of Castor and Pollux starting a war over the abduction of their sister Helen. It's the same story. And now to bring it home, what to do with all this now, what to do with all this in this season. Gemini energy arrives just before the summer solstice. I think we are like, what, 5 days away from the summer solstice? Yes, the halfway point of the year. Symbolically, the twins speak to the need for contact with another person, the need for communication, the need to experience and feel brotherly love. During this time, the importance of establishing and maintaining good relationships, ubulingani, nobudlelwane, becomes of great importance, and it is echoed in all the rituals and festivals we keep at this time of year with the sun in its highest position. As that is happening, we gather with our families, friends and neighbors to conversate, break bread together. The season is very communicative and representative of opposing views and forces, the play between the left and the right, material and the spiritual. This is the time we best use for settling our differences through sitting down and breaking bread together and sharing wine, meditating on the grand realization that two can make a perfect whole while each struggles to retain its own identity as a single person, as a single individuated person. Ungumfowethu. And this is why the Gemini twins are always shown as if they are reaching out to each other, or shown with arms, with an arm over the shoulders, as pals. Even though we are opposites, even though Castor pulls this way and Pollux pulls this way, but in the end, eventually the two can make a perfect whole, while each struggles independently to retain its own identity as a single person. 'Tis the season to be light-hearted and silly. At this time, the song to our meditation for the time we are in, as we are approaching the summer solstice, is "Lord, plant my feet on higher ground." Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. The summer solstice is the higher ground of the year, and every labor, all our endeavors, and all our pursuits must be a reflection of this fact that we are approaching the highest position in the sky. We are approaching the holy city, Jerusalem. Jesus is preparing to ride the two asses into Jerusalem. That is where we are. Jerusalem, ikhaya labangcwele. Let thy clothes be always white, and thy heads be always anointed, or something like that. In the Lord's Prayer, we say, "Thy will be done, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." And if you're doing Shagwa meditation, we can work with the sound and the sound yam. And if you prefer singing, you can use hamba, hamba vangeli hamba, or you can use yama, yama, usinde ekwesabeni, yama, yama. Or you can use chants, or you can use Gregorian chants, whichever you are comfortable with. The meditation colors for the season and meditation colors and candles, yes, are blue, Then at solstice, we move over to green. And diet-wise, of course, last but not least, we are looking at the color orange. So all the food with the color orange, that will give us the cell salt, potassium chloride or calimer, as we are moving over to the green, the heart, the green lion. And so, yes, that is all I had for us today, guys. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm still waiting for questions. I hope you guys are understanding these lectures, and you are seeing the importance of being able to navigate these symbols, so that we may be able to recognize them in today's scriptures. And what are today's scriptures? The works of science, technology, and innovation. This thing that Africans are not innovators in their own space, Africans are not coming up with enough solutions for their immediate problems. It needs to end. It needs to stop. We are catching hell not because Yahweh or whoever cursed us. We are catching hell because we are not understanding the symbols of the day. We are not cursed. We are not stupid. We are none of those things. We just don't understand the symbols of the day. Thank you for listening, guys. It's been great. It's your host, Unga, signing out.